European markets have surged ahead to two-month highs after strong manufacturing data from China at the weekend. The country's economy is growing at 9% per year, and though that's predicted to slow slightly in 2012, its continued success will be in marked contrast to Europe. Many of its economies are forecast to return to recession this year. Perhaps it's not surprising then that an increasing number of graduates from European universities are applying for internships in Chinese companies, as Dominic Laurie reports from London.
It'll be completely different, but that's a challenge.
Until now, the closest that Alexander Lerner has ever been to China is this restaurant in London's Chinatown. It's a rainy mid-morning and we're taking shelter over some dim sum. He's a graduate from law school, but is finding it very hard to secure a job.
It's very tough. It's not just as well getting, for example, a training contract, but once you're there as well, the internal competition is extremely intense.
1 in 5 16 to 25-year-olds in the UK can't find a job. In Spain, the figure is 2 in 5. But Alexander has a plan to get ahead of the competition. In a few days' time, he's heading to China for several weeks to work in a firm there.
There's no way that you couldn't stand out a little bit from the crowd having done something like that, because that's not on everyone's CV. I've worked in a Shanghai law firm practicing Chinese law with a Confucian basis. I mean, that can't not be a talking point, really.
Sitting beside Alexander is Kay Michael, a UK boss of CRCC Asia, the company organising Alexander's trip.
So we've got a lot of interns coming from Ireland, Spain, Italy, basically the economies in Europe that aren't doing so well.
They've seen the number of European graduates apply for their Chinese internship programs double every year since 2008. And the graduates that do go, even if just for a month, don't always come back.
A lot of them come onto our program with the idea of staying out in China after the internship. So, a lot of them will use this as a kind of stepping stone to, break into the Chinese market and economy, really. And 30% of our interns getting offered full-time jobs at the end of their internships.
It's not surprising that so many graduates like Alexander are looking to China for help. Despite the continued economic fragility in the West, China is still growing at a fast clip of 9% per year. Recent figures show that factory output expanded between November and December. In years gone by, it almost exclusively relied on exports to fuel growth. Now its traditional customers in the West are weak. It's turned to its own people, who are starting to consume more of its own goods and services. Here at London's Heathrow Airport, I'm meeting Hadi Sharif. He works for the firm that runs it. He went on an internship in China in 2010. He found the food a bit unusual, but says it changed his life for the better.
But my internship in China definitely was an epiphany. On your CV, it gives you that extra bolster that, it excels your CV in a sense. It shows that you're willing, you're eager. I would recommend to any graduate, get out there, get the experience, meet the people, network, and witness a different culture, really.
The US investment bank Goldman Sachs thinks China's stellar growth rates will stay almost unscathed this year. It's widely forecast that many economies in Europe will go back into recession in 2012. As a fifth year of economic stagnation beckons, thousands more graduates are sure to jet off to find a better offer around the globe. Dominic Laurie for VOA News, London.